Hey, Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Call Halayim, Yahweh, Yahushai. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to you brothers out there doing the work in sincerity and truth. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash, Barakatam Akim. Just want to come back and do a quick video going into famine of the word and how that famine is going to affect you spiritually. Okay. And I'm going to use, an example that actually a famine hit the land there in the time of Jeremiah and how that same famine that is spiritual is going to hit this land and how it's going to affect you spiritually, okay? Because you have your physical and your spiritual and going through things such as a famine, not having enough food, nutrition, water, where you gain your minerals, you will begin to starve and to break down and die away. It's the same thing with the spirit. You have to feed your spirit, profitable things, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is contained in this book, and living a righteous life to the best of your ability. This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. Okay. Now, every time Israel, before they got taken into captivity, they were warned by a man of the Lord, a prophet, to get right, and not only that, but what the destruction that was coming. Okay. And during that time, they were gradually losing that knowledge and understanding because of their impudent and stiff neck, So right now, where the Lord has men on the highways and the byways that are, pushing forth this truth, which is likened unto water, bread, okay? And there's a lot of people that are rejecting it, as we have already been told, as we've seen through the examples, the things that are written for our learning. Ain't nothing new underneath the sun. So this is going to come eventually, all right? Today in our time, everybody thinks everything, because things are to their disposal at a touch of a finger or a button, a finger away, arm's reach away, that they have life or eternity in their hand, but that's far from the truth. Okay, there's prophecies, and the return of Yahweh Shai is nigh. Okay, it's imminent. Okay, so I want to go from here to Jeremiah chapter 14. It says, the word of Yahweh that came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth. Now, the dearth is another word for famine. Okay, so I'm going to go into that word dearth. Okay, it says dearth, drought, destitution. Okay, restraint or of rain, that is drought, dearth, drought. Okay, so it's a famine of water. Okay, as it said, going back over here real quick to Amos 8:11, it says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Okay, so let's go back to Jeremiah 14:1. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth, right, the drought, and which affects your crops, which affects the cattle. All right, because the cattle, they need water to drink. Okay, they need the grass of the field to eat. So it says, Judah mourneth, the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground, and they cry of the cry of Jerusalem is gone up, and their nobles have sent their little ones to the waters. Okay, now we know that the word of the Lord is the water of life. Okay. It's the scriptures say that you have forsaken the fountain of living waters, which is this word. Now, during this time, all right, it says that Judah was mourning, and the gates thereof languished. The prophets, the men of the Lord, they were languishing at the chief place of concourse, man. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem has gone up because of the things that they were suffering during that time. It says, their nobles have sent their little ones to the waters. They came to the pits and found no water. They returned with their vessels empty. They are ashamed and confounded and covered their heads, because the ground is chapped. For there was no rain in the earth. The plowmen were ashamed. They covered their heads. Yea, the hind also calved in the field and forsook it, because there was no grass. And the wild ass did stand in the high places. They snuffed up the wind like dragons. Their eyes did fail, because there was no grass. O Lord, though our iniquities testify against us, do thou it for thy name's sake. For our backslidings are many. We have sinned against thee. You see, so that's why Yahweh Shai is going to lift up that grace of hearing his word, that mercy of being able to hear his word, and the gospel being preached unto you. That's why he says, I'm going to bring a famine, but it's not going to be of bread or of water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? But this is how people are going to try to look and search for water or food, and they're going to come back empty-handed. Let's go over here to 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 9. And salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, and thou shalt be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. One land also shall ask another, and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. Okay. So that's how this ended up for them here in the time of Jeremiah in chapter 14. Okay, when they went through this dearth, this drought, this famine. Okay, which affected the people, which affected the animals. And they came back empty-handed. It's the same thing with you people. When that famine of the word comes, you people y'all gonna be like those 5 foolish virgins that had no oil in their lamp. Okay. Let me go back to Amos 8 and 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. You see, they ain't gonna find that life, that the living, the rivers, Salakia, the fountain of living water, or the word of life, or the water of life. It says, in that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. They that swear, that's it on there, So they ain't gonna be able to find it in that day, man. And that day's coming, just like the day of Jeremiah when he told them that the Babylonians were gonna come through, when Elijah kept the rains, the rain from falling. Was it period of 3 years? Let's go over here, and this is why the valley of dry bones is spoken of, because y'all are all thirsty. Okay, famished. All right, you've been stricken with famine and dearth. It says, Isaiah 5 and 13. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge. You see, you don't have any knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Let's go look up that word famished real quick. I believe this is the one that's famine, yeah. The outline of biblical usage, famine, hunger. This is the same concordance H7457 that is in Amos 9 and 11. Famine, hunger, famine in land, nation of Yahweh's word, figurative. Hunger of individuals. Dearth, see right there. Strong's definition, hunger, more or less extensive. Dearth, famine. Famished hunger. Okay? Or it says here, and it says hunger, famine, whether of individuals, Lamentations 5 and 10, or of entire provinces, scarcity of grain. So it's going to be scarce, this word, man. All right? It's going to be very scarce to find. But that's what it says. It says, therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. You see? So that famine, when it comes, man, a lot of you people are going to be chaff, man. Y'all going to be dried up, just meant to be consumed by way of that fire, man. You know, you have dry leaves. The dry leaves are very susceptible to catching fire easily and quickly. Okay? You have no moisture. You have nothing, man, because you refrain from staying close to the waters. This is Psalms 1 and 3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season, by remaining close to Yahweh by Shemal Washai. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. You see? Because that famine that not able to hear the word of Yahweh Shemal Washai is going to cause a lot of people to get more and more wicked, and that's a deficiency. Okay, whenever you go through famine, that starvation, so you start losing your minerals. And how do you gain minerals? By way of water. You know, the other things, your other forget what they call them, that you need to have energy, is by way of food, carbohydrates. You know, you got your meats, your grains, you know, your nuts. You know, that starts begin to be deplete from your body. So imagine what happens to your spirit, man. It becomes black, darkened. Okay. Man, there was a scripture I was gonna bring out. Yeah, John chapter 15. And to every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. So what is clean? What is a cleaning agent? Water. Or, you know, fire is able to purge as well. But in this case, it's that water. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can you, except you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you see, my words abide in you, because that famine of the word is coming. So you have to get this word while it's still here, man, the spirit, because the spirit's going to hide itself. It says, ye shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. So your minds become obscure, darkened. They begin to wither away like a raisin, dried, you know. And you don't want that to happen, man. You want to have that fleshly heart, not that stony heart. And I'm going to bring out that one in Lamentations 5. Lamentations 5. And it says, we get our bread with peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. And this really did happen, man. When the Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians came through, and took over the southern kingdom, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. What do you think happened to their flesh, their bodies, and also their spirit, man? They became black, darkened, obscure, of no understanding. And when you look at it at a spiritual sense, not just a physical sense, but what actually happened to their mind frame, man, because of them rejecting the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, this is the outline of biblical usage for black. It says to yearn, be kindled, be black, hot, grow, warm, and tender, be or grow hot, become emotionally agitated, to grow warm and tender, to be or grow hot. Strong's definition says properly to intertwine or contract, that is, by implication, to shrivel, as with heat. So, what do you think happened to their mind, their spirit, man? It shriveled because they weren't fortified. They didn't have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is the strength of thy salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. They didn't have that. That's why all these things happened unto them, because they failed to acknowledge Yahweh Shem Shai as that one. Right? It says figuratively to be deeply affected with passion, love, or pity. Be black, be kindled, yearn. Okay, so in this sense, they were being destroyed, man. To shrivel. They were weakened. Just like in like I brought out Jeremiah 14, it says, Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Right? I believe it's the same definition, or this is Kodar, which is to mourn, be black, be darkened, to cause to mourn, to grow dark, to be ashy, that is dark colored, by implication to mourn, and sackcloth or sordid garments. Okay? So they had a mournful spirit on them, man. So that spirit, the Lord said he didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of love and joy and peace. So to reject the words of Yahweh Shem Shai leads you to all that negativity that people claim that they don't want, but really they're holding on to it because their happiness is a false. It's false, because what they find happiness and joy in is wickedness, not in the words of Yahweh Shem Shai. So the famine of the word is coming, man, and it's going to be an extreme rarity to find it out here in the last days, man, when martial law hits, and we get further into that, that after that, the RFID is pushed, the mark of the beast, and then up to that Third World War, man. And people are going to be actually looking for it. So with that, man, I hope it was edifying. Brother, stay hydrated. Keep those minerals flowing through your mind, your spirit, and remain by the rivers of living water, man, because that's the only way we're going to survive and not be dried up and shrivel away or wither away, So with that, shalom.